Oceanigod, Galielig, Chiqueto, Kohig, Wade Blevins, Dawadon, Jalagigantino, Unole, Dawadon, Kohig, or Jalagina Kine, RSU TV, we gonna new go, Kohig, Nugsko, Chaneline, Jalagia de lo Costi. So, welcome. My name is Wade Blevins. I'm very, very happy to be here. This is Cherokee 4 here on RSU TV. Today is our 48th Cherokee lesson, so this is the very last one, Ulsquat, right? So hopefully you have enjoyed the class. I know I really have. I've learned a lot. Of course, as you know, if you've been following any of the other classes or anything like that, you know that I'm just like you. I'm a second language learner. I just have the benefit of having access to speakers in different communities, and I can rely on them. I consider them good friends as well as teachers and mentors, and I can call on them to help us try to learn this language. As we're going through these lessons, it's become more and more apparent to me how important it is. Just this week, we've lost two first language speakers, two fluent speakers of our language, and there were a couple last week. So, you know, every week we're losing a rich wealth of information, right? We're losing all of these speakers, and we're just not producing more to replace them. So it's very, very important, even if you don't become fluent, even if you just use a few words here and there, that's better than nothing at all, right? So just do your best, keep plugging away at it, keep doing your best. Use this as an opportunity to get to know speakers, whether they're in your community or in your family, or they might be speakers from another community. Nowadays, with social media being the way it is, you know, you can kind of have access to speakers from, you know, different places. If you don't happen to live someplace where there are speakers that you know of, then you know, you can still have access to speakers, but just please remember they're human beings. You know, you need to establish a relationship with them. You know, and I know for myself, I try not to bug them constantly. And I know that they're very willing and they're very happy to help any way that they can, but I also know they have lives as well. They can't, you know, just be at your beck and call 24/7. And they don't always know, you know, and we're going to come across that today. In today's lesson, there are actually going to be a couple of words that I talked to 4 or 5 different speakers, and they were like, I don't know, it's got me, you know. And so probably one of two things have happened. Either this word has just fallen out of use and it was a kind of unique word, or when it was written down, it's just in the way that it's spelled, it's in a way that we just haven't, you know, played around with it enough to say it right for it to trigger like, oh, that's what you're trying to say. That happened to me today. A friend of mine called me, and he was like, well, I came across this word written in syllabary, and it says awadasa. And he was like, what is that? And I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I've never heard that before. I don't know what they're trying to say. And so then I kind of played around with it in my head a little bit, and da-da-da-da. And then he sent it to me in syllabary, and I was like, oh, it's not awa de son, it's awa te son, which means I grew up, right? Awa te son. I was like, that's where I grew up. I said, now it makes sense, but I just had to kind of play around with it, and before it kind of rang a bell for me, and I had to, have something to trigger it, for me to be like, oh, okay, this is what it is, and that happens, and that's kind of the problem. I'm not going to say it's the problem, but it's our shortcoming, because we don't have enough that's written in Cherokee for us to read on a daily basis, to read constantly, unless you're, reading the Bible or something like that. Reading in Cherokee is a struggle, not just for me, but it's a struggle for fluent speakers as well. When you're trying to read something that somebody else has written, they're going to, sounds are going to sound different to them. And we've kind of noticed that with these comics, right, that we've been doing. There have been different ways, and it's like, oh, okay, I understand, because and kind of sound similar. And I've even noticed that even in the same comic, they'll spell the same word differently, just because at that time, and with the sounds that are around the word, that's how it sounds to them. And so we don't have standardized spellings for our words or for our language. So you just sound it the way it sounds to you. And so that creates some difficulties when we're trying to read what others have written. But my advice to you is just to read. Read as much as you can get your hands on. There's a lot that's available for free online that's been written down. There are also some great books that have been done that are written in Cherokee, and you can go and you can read them. They're kind of there are different ones that you can read, but we don't have a lot, but what we do have, just seek it out, and you'll probably come across a lot of the stuff that we've done here in this class, because I've tried to pull as much as I could from stuff that's already been done and been written, because I find that for me that's important, to read what others have done. So, and it's helped me in my learning, and hopefully it'll help you. So come. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through, and we're still working with this book, Sio Ale Losi, High and Lois, right? Which was written by Mort Walker and Dick Brown. They were translated in 1975 by the Cherokee Biliteracy or Bilingual Program. And I believe Martin Cochran, I think, if I remember correctly, was one of the people that worked on the translations of these comics. There are 4 of them that exist. We kind of worked our way through all of Blondie, I think, and we're kind of working our way through all of High and Lois. There are 2 others that exist. There's one that's Popeye, and then there's another one that is Beetle Bailey. And I will say, in going through them, because I have found copies of all 4 and I've been reading through them, Popeye is far and away the most wordy of all 4 of those comics. The pages are just full of dialogue, both in English and in Cherokee. And so I felt like for us, for the purposes of our class, it was a little bit more than we could bite off. It was a little bit daunting and overwhelming. Beetle Bailey is not too bad, and if we have time today, we're actually going to look at one of their short ones for Beetle Bailey, just because I just want you to look at it, and it's a fairly easy one to read. Probably you could understand most of it without me translating it for you. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back through, we're going to review what we did the last time, and then we're going to move forward and we're going to do another comic. So, all right. So if you remember, we did 2 last time. I'm going to read them to you a couple of times, and then we're going to move on, okay? So there are a couple ways that you can follow along. You can either read with me, or if you want, you can just follow along and look at the pictures and listen to me as I tell the story and see if you can remember what was happening at the time. So, come, Elena. U da da tli na no di do di. Nis na nu sti kasi a jo ta sti. Osta ka I jali dane. Ayano al Yesu wagu nika kese. U da da tli sti a hani gal jode ya jo tas gesti. U da da tli sti a hani doya ya jo tas gesti. Skina. Donali I dike. I'll squat. Okay, let's read it one more time. U da da tli na no da do di. Nis na nu sti kasi. A jo tasti. Osta ka I jali dane. Ayano al Yesu wagu niga kasi. U da da tli sti a hani gal jode ya jo tas gesti. U da da tli sti a hani doya ya jo tas gesti skina. Danali I dike. I'll squat. Okay, so that was one of them that we did last time. Let's look at the other one. It's a little bit longer. I'll read it through 2 times. U da da tli a le di do di. U na gal jo de e da sti. Agaski. Jihanagi. Kila I he do lai. Uwagi di sa. Tlaka. Do yi wo. Ga ye da sti yik kohig. Aguantada plana go hoost you donanelo heska. Gadoha ust. Nihida higa nak diyik. Ayano aguadaji. Awejino agehuj. Judanile uherdla uniiski. E doda ulsque tomo jalsque dugest. Hi ano gaskilo jalsta tlusti yigi. Hi ano jajo doti. Osta no gudages. Diga yanis gesti. Agiela sesti. O siyo higanakti, age yuja, udanila, aligush yitena, yinaguna, uhedla uniyiska, tlagu gugiyelahi, tla galjodeya, yaged, all squat. Okay, I'll read through it one more time. Udadatli, hang on just a second. Udadatli, ale, di doti, una, galchode edasti. Agaski, jihanigi, kila ihe dolai, uwagi di disa. Tlaka, doyiwo, gayedasti yik kohig. Aguantada, plana gohus, yidonanelo heska. Gatohaust, nihita higanaktiik, ayano, aguataji, aguejano, agehuge, judanile, uhedla, uniyiski. Edota ulsque tomo, jalsque du gesti. Hi ano gaskilo, jalsta tlusti, yik. Hi ano jajototi. Osta nogu dages. Digayaniskesti, agiyela sesti. Osio higanakti, agehuja udanila, aliwus yitena, yinagua, uhedla uniyiskani. Tlagu gugiyelahi, tla galjodeya, yaged, all squat. Okay, so you remember what happened, right? Okay, so let's go through the next one. And as I said, the next one is a little odd. It's got a couple of words in there that I couldn't find any kind of translation for. I asked several speakers, and I do want to give a shout out and say thank you to Kathy, Sierra, and Peggy Gertie Flute, and Peggy Sawney, and Wade, and Ahyok, for all being so willing to help through this entire class, and also Joanne Spade. All of these individuals helped at different times during the class. They weren't unable to actually be here in the class this time, and I really regret that. But life gets busy, and we all get busy, and that's just how it is. So. But they were more than willing to help us figure words out and talk to me about words and things like that. So, all right. So here's the one that we're going to do now, and let's work our way through it. Okay, I'll read through it first, and then we'll go back through and we'll pick it apart. So it says, Siyo ale lo si una da doa danel doti. Nade crump jadoit nole di awado di awaktosti. O siwuju. Ulsegi wuka pla. Yigawo hiliya yigawo hiliya. Dohiyu kayogon ugseski hi a jadanela. Sedika nigeli skawu. Jelly sun is na crump. Agaguli ke. Agaguli ke. Yep. Ulsegi. Gina Danelli don't. Gina Danelli don't. Dodan stick it. Seno. Klago hust. Ye tug. Seno ise. Kilo. Uju yedi. Ski used. Oh. Kilo ega. Galo histi. Digani ha. Hey. Crump agayelege. Giskansi. Dagwadon. Giskansi dagwadon. Osta dagwadon. Na kanasula histui. Utlist gohus ulistasi. Giskansi dagwadon. Uyotlaka nulistasi agayelige. Utlist se. Ukilohisi. Utanhisti. Huyana. Ganaktino agu na studi nole kilo diganiha. Ya dagwadoa. No, na. That should be na. Let me go ahead and hang on just 1 second. Let's see where is yeah. Okay, that should be na. There we go. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay? Yeah. Na dagwadoa. Crump utahist. Higeya. Na ega usti age huja. Hiyohisti nela. Dogin doa. Ni dogina da egg. Ni dogina da e. Talino wu. You walked. Doginio husi. Okay, so some of these words are interesting, right? Part of it you should know. Part of it should make sense to you. But let's see. Okay, let's make our way through what we can. All right? So, it starts out, siyo, ole, losi. Okay, high and lowest, right? CO, high, ale, low, si. And of course, low si is a cognate, meaning it sounds similar in English as it does to the target language, in this case being Cherokee, right? So CO, ale, low, si, una, there, da, doa, name, di, dan, dinel, toti, game, name game is the name of the title. Okay, so nade crump judo it. Okay, over there is the one named Crump. Okay, nole, then judo it nole, then the awak toasty, staring at me. So in this case, nole would be kind of like again, staring at me. O-C-O, O-C would you? So he says, hello, O-C would you? Are you all right? Okay. Ulsegi wuka. Ulsegi, really strange. Ulsegi wuka. Just really strange. Tla yigawo hiliya. Yigawo hiliya. She won't answer me. Okay? Or she won't reply. Okay? So tla yigawo hiliya. She won't reply. Okay? Dohiyu kayogo, that means really like for real, right? We had this word once before. Dohiyu kayogo. Dohiyu means really, and then this kayogo is really, right? Dohiyu kayogo. Ukseski means careful, okay? So really careful, or really ukseski, really watchful. So really, she's watchful. As we know, that ski at the end means a doer of something. So she's a real watchful one. Hia jadanela, this house, this building. So she's really one that watches this house. That's like, it's really imperative, or it's really important. Nigeli skawo, and that means it just seems that way. It seems like it's really important, or it's really something that she puts a lot of thought into, right? So let's read through this page again. So as we can see in the pictures, he's gone out to get his milk in the morning that was delivered, and you can see the neighbor next door, really giving him the stink eye. And so he's thinking here, he's got thought bubbles and speech bubbles. So he's thinking, he's like, oh, there's that Crump lady looking at me, And so he speaks to her, and then he's like, it's really strange. She doesn't reply to me. And so it's like, she's really one to watch my house. She's really one to watch this house. And it just seems to be really important to her. Okay? So, and you can see he's going into the building, and there she is peeking around the corner, right? So let's read this one as far as we've got it, okay? So, Siyo ale lo si na da do di nel do di. Na de crump ju do it no le di awak toasty. O si wuchu u segi wu ka kla yikawohi liya. Dohiyu kayo gon uga ukseski hi a jadanela. Sedi kan nigeli san skawo. Okay, let's read it one more time. Okay, so it says siyo ale lo si una da doa danel doti na de crump ju do it no le di awak tosti. O si wuju ul segi wu ka kla yigawo hi liya. Dohiyu kayo gon ukseski hi a jadanela. Sedi kan nigeli skawo. Okay, so the next one. So we see he's in the house now and he's talking to his wife. Jeli is na crump aga lege. I think that should have been ya, but aga lege. Ulsek Gina Daneli don't. So well, let's read the whole thing and then we'll go through it. So do da stick it seno klago hust yiga da tuga seno I se kilon uju hyede ski used. Oh, kilo ega galo histi digani ha. Hey, crump aga yelige. Giskansi dogwadoa. Okay, so says Jeli san is. It's like, did you think, Jeli san is, did you think, nah, crump, aga yelige, that old lady crump, ulsegi, strange, Gina Daneli don't, she kind of goes around acting strange. So he asks his wife, he says, do you think that old lady crump goes around acting strange? And then she says, do da ustikit seno. And she's like, do da, that means I agree. Stick it a little bit, seno, maybe. Then maybe she's like, do da stick it, seno. She's like, well, then maybe I agree with you a little, right? Klago hust yiga da tuga. It's like, it's not something yiga da tuga is like not something I really pay attention to. Not something I really listen to, right? Seno ise, but must kilo someone, and this is uja yudi, ski, like that, he used that way, like, Okay, so here comes this is our first word. Ujuhyud, ujuhyud, ujuhyud. Nobody seems to know what that means. And even in looking at the book, you know, this sentence translates to, but maybe there must be someone who is that kind of character, is how it translates to. So evidently this ujuhyud means character, but none of the speakers that I spoke to, none of them had heard the word before. None of them could really parse it or even figure it out. One speaker said, well, maybe it's related to utayud, which means they have a belly button, right? Utayud means they have a belly button. And you know, that's like at their core, right? And so their thought was, after I showed them the English, they're like, well, maybe this ujuyud is like, you know, related to that word for belly button, and it's kind of slang for meaning their core. You know, they've got to have someone like that. Okay. So that was the best that we could come up with. Se no ise, but must, kilo, someone, and then ujuhyud, we're just going to translate that as character. Ski, yes, like that. Used, similar, okay? Used, right? Like, okay? Then we are here, and it says, oh, kilo eka, kalo histi, digani ha. Okay, so kilo eka means someone, a specific someone. We talked about this ega one time before. That ega, we saw he ega, right? This one right here, okay? Kilo ega, someone very specific, okay? Galohist, the door. Diganiha is they're knocking on it, they're hitting it, they're hitting the door. So it means they're knocking on the door. Diganiha, okay? So, oh, kilo ega galohisti diganiha. So someone's knocking at the door. Hey, and so hey is hey, right? Crump agayelige, old lady Crump, right? So we don't, of course, you know, in English, that's probably not the most polite way to address somebody is old lady, agayelige. But I think in Cherokee, it's more like elder, right? Elder Crump. You know, it's kind of a honorific title, right? So maybe we should say elder Crump, right? Crump agayelige. And then she comes in and she's screaming and yelling and she says, "Giskansi, dagwadoa," means you all give me my name, okay? Give my name back, okay? Give my name back. So then she goes on and she's still screaming, "Dagwadoa, my name. Giskansi, dagwadoa, give back my name. Osta, dagwadoa, my good name," okay? And then hi is na kana sula histui. This is open the room, okay? I think he's meaning the closet in this case. He's like, open the room. Utlista, utlista, quickly. Utlista gohust, ulstasi, ulistasi. So uli stasi, is like quickly something is about to happen, is going to happen. Jiska si dagwa doa, give me back my name. Jiska si dagwa doa, give me back my name. Okay, and then you see he's like uyo tlaka, is really poor. Okay, uyo tlaka, nul stasi, something that must have happened. Agaya lege. So something really sad must have happened to the old lady. Agaya lege, to the old lady. Utlista, say, quickly you've got to ukilohisi, go get somebody. Ukilohisi, quickly go get someone. Utahist, Huyana, go get her husband, okay, or go get the old man is Utahist. We know, you may be familiar with the word Utasona, old man. Utahist is the same. Utahist, Huyana, go get the old man. Okay, Ganak dino awu. And she's like, oh, you know, a doctor maybe, and then a doctor. Na studi, the door, nole, then kilo, diga niha, someone's knocking at the door. Okay, so na studi, nole, then somebody's knocking at the door. Na studi, nole, kilo, diga niha, someone's knocking at the door. Na dagwadoa, my name. So she's still talking about her name. Crump, Utahist, old man Trump, or old man Crump, excuse me, old man Crump. So, and then he comes in and he says, Higeya, you lady, you lady. In this case, it'd be like miss, okay? You lady, okay? Na ega, that one there, and he's pointing at the baby, at Trixie, right? Usti, baby, agehuja, that there baby girl. Hio histi nela, make her release it. Dogin don, our name, dogin don, our name. Make her release our name, okay? And this is the second word in the group that I don't really understand, and that none of but nidogi na da nidogi na da to the speakers, they were like, well, it sounds kind of like they're taking it off of the crossing. And so looking at that and looking at the translation, it's like, you know, took our name off our yard is what they're saying here. And you can see here, you know, she has these little nameplates that she's playing with, right? Talinowu, second, EU walked, second time. Dogini yohu, see, that we have, that they've gone missing. Okay, that they've gone missing to us. Dogini yohu, see. Okay, so we see now that Miss Crump is not really crazy. She's talking about her nameplates that the baby keeps taking off of their yard, right? And then I'll squat end. Okay, so quickly I'm going to read through it because I do want to at least read the Beetle Bailey one for you, and we've only got about 5 minutes left. So I'm just going to read this one time through. Sio alelosi una da doa da nel doti. Na de crump judoit nole di awak tosti. O si would you? Ulseki wu ka tla Yiga wo hi liya. Do hi yu kayogon ukseski hi a jadanela. Sedika nigeli skawo. Jelly is na crump agayelige ulsegi jinadan eli don. Dodan stikit seno. Klago hust yi gedaktuga. Seno ise kilo ujuhyedi ski just. Oh, kilo ega galo histi digani ha. Hey, crump agayelige. Jiskansi dagwadoa. Jiskansi dagwadoa. Ostan dagwadoa. Na kanasula histui. Utlis gohust ulstasi. Jiskansi dagwadoa. Uyo tlaka nulstasi agayelige. Utlist se. Kilo hisi. Utanhist huyana. Ganaktino awu. Na studi no le kilo diganiha. Na dagwadoa. Crump utahist. Higeha. Na ega usti age huge. Hiyo histinela dogin don. Ni dogina da eha talino you walked dogin yohusi. Okay? Now here real quickly, we've got like 2 minutes. Okay? Talastai ayoski nadon ale yigi dejalu tisi. Higo ti hawu goela igajeli jiu atlawi diski wiganiha nadoi no wuta anagi galanadi gohweli ju hiska we na goi waka uniesti we gani ga jiu. Okay, so what he's saying there is this is talastai is like is a beetle. It's like it's hard, right? Ayoski, soldier. Nado in this case is the moon, and higi dejalu tisi and coming back. So to the moon and back, right? Chikoti hawu, I can just see gohuela, the paper. Igajeli, our, Giu, our plane. Atlawi diski, going off. Wiganiha, nadon, and hitting the moon. Okay, Nowuta, and now Nagi. Now it's taking off. Okay, now it's taking off. Galanadi, up and up. Okay, go huelichu. Do you a paper? Hiska, man, sir. Do you want a paper? Okay, huina goi. Get out of here. Huina goi. Go get out of here. Waka uniest. And then, of course, the title of the paper says Waka uniest, means the cow barn. Wiganiga. It went and hit it. GU, the plane. So instead of hitting the moon, it hit the cow barn. All right. So that's all the time that we have for us, not only for today, but for the entire class. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Go through, listen to them as much as you wish. From all of us here at Cherokee Nation and RSU TV, I just want to say, I disquat and jadaksa stes don dago ha'i.